This is about as bad as it gets.
Several inches turning to feet in parts of the state. We're tracking road conditions, plummeting temperatures, and what you need to know heading into the weekend.
Snow is tapering off tonight, but we're not out of the woods. Another round is heading our way for the weekend.
Conditions are terrible.
More than 40 miles stretch from here to the mountains just reopened, but officials are telling people to hunker down. It's dangerous out on the roads.
I just wish there was a better way to get up I-70, you know? I wish there was like a tunnel or something underneath.
Skiers and snowboarders, we know it's tempting. Why officials say, though, you may want to sit this one out. Tonight, the roads are snow-packed and they're quiet, which is probably a good thing because I think we should all just stay off of them right now. Snow's been falling now in the metro for 24 hours, a little bit more actually. Some parts seeing a foot of snow, the mountains just getting buried.
In fact, things are so bad in some high country towns. Frisco is telling people not to drive, and they've teamed up with the Red Cross to open an emergency shelter tonight at Summit Middle School. There are 50 people staying in that shelter tonight.
We don't hear this often, but there was so much snow, it actually forced Loveland ski area to close today.
And if you are trying to get to the mountains, CDOT just reopened that 40-plus mile stretch of I-70 that was closed for the entire day. And they are warning drivers to proceed with caution. Wow. Good evening, and thanks for joining us on this snowy Friday night. I'm Ann Trujillo.
And I'm Shannon Ogden. And we may be snow-free tomorrow, but don't get too excited. We have another round coming our way this weekend.
We have live team coverage for you. Our Addie Guajardo is keeping an eye on that major I-70 closure and what skiers and snowboarders need to know before the morning.
First to Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson. This is a heck of a storm, Mike.
It really was, I'll tell you. Right now, downtown conditions are pretty good. There's snow-covered roads, but the snow has stopped in the downtown area. But let me show you some of the snow totals. This is our scale up here, so all of this is more than a foot of snow. Aspen Park, 18 inches. Parker had a foot. Littleton, 9. We had about 8 here at Denver, 7. But the big totals come in the mountains. We're up on Rabbit Ears Pass. One spot had 52 inches of snow out of the storm, and most of the other places had close to 3 feet. Now, it's winding down. The snow bands are getting smaller finally, and there's still a few of them over the city and up between Greeley heading out toward Wiggins and Fort Morgan, but that is the last of it for tonight. Our headlines, the snow finally finishing. We'll have a lot of sunshine tomorrow, but there is more snow on the way for Sunday.
Of course there is. All right, thank you, Mike. And listen to this, we hit almost 11 hours of that major I-70 closure. The good news is just in the last 60 minutes, CDOT reopened that big stretch of I-70 between Golden and the tunnel.
And I'm sure a lot of people are breathing a sigh of relief. This nearly 50-mile stretch of interstate's been shut down for most of the day because really the roads were just too dangerous for people to drive on.
We continue our team coverage tonight with Denver 7's Addie Guajardo in Golden. So what's it looking like out there at this hour, Addie?
Well, Shannon, and conditions are definitely improving. You could see cars on I-70 right now after it was deserted for hours due to those closures. Now, conditions out here are improving, like I said earlier, but it doesn't mean you're out of the woods. There's still snow on that highway and slush making those roads slick. Now, visibility significantly improved on our drive to Golden. We had to take it slow due to whiteout conditions. We even came across a truck in a ditch. Now, I spoke to a driver frustrated with the I-70 closure. He told me the alternate routes are actually more dangerous.
It's super frustrating, but unfortunately it's been one of those things that's been pretty common. It seems like the last couple of years it's shut down quite often all the time.
Now we spoke with a Colorado State Patrol officer. He says they understand everyone's frustration, people trying to get to the mountains to snowboard or ski or any outdoor activities they had planned, but they say they had to take action to ensure their safety. Now, one of the drivers I spoke to tells me more needs to be done to keep this highway open. He says he's just seen it close way too many times. But again, as it gets colder out here, the snow that has started to melt at some point is getting slick. So you'll want to take it nice and slow if you make it out onto this highway. Reporting live from Golden, Addie Guajardo, Denver 7.
All right, Addie, thank you. So avalanche danger is high across Aspen, Vail, Summit County, and Steamboat. The flashing red you see on the screen, that should serve as a warning to avoid the backcountry during a storm like this. In fact, today we saw an avalanche along I-70 in the Officer Gulch area between Frisco and Copper Mountain. It did reach the road in the westbound lanes, and fortunately no cars were trapped, and thankfully no one was hurt. And here in the metro, some cities will be plowing overnight. Lakewood, for example, planned to have plows focusing on those nasty side streets, but because of all the snow, all that extra snow, They say they had to reprioritize and focus on the main roads. Other cities have called off their plows until morning, and that means snowy roads to start out your Saturday.
Denver police say they responded to more than 120 crashes between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. today. And I know we sound like a broken record here, but in a storm like this, it might be tempting to warm up your car with you not in it. But this is a great time for thieves to be out looking to steal that puffer car. And as the storm winds down, we are in for another round on over the weekend. So you can always take a live look at our radar on thedenverchannel.com.